August 27th, save the date for the Pisces Lunar Eclipse, part 2. So in the first part, I told you what to expect, what it's going to feel like, how is it going to feel in Pisces. Now we're going to get into the rising sign, meaning which houses are you going to be feeling this in. You still got a week to prepare for this, so ease into it. This is going to be an emotional one. So the reason the house matters is because it tells you what area of your life these eclipses have been hitting, meaning where have these changes been happening that is leading to like a culmination point. This is the last eclipse in Pisces for the next 24 years or so. Eclipses last about 2 to 2.5 years in each sign, meaning right now the nodes just moved into Leo and Aquarius. We're going to be experiencing eclipses in this area for the next 2 to 2.5 years, with some exceptions like this eclipse. But this is the last one in the series that was happening in Virgo and Pisces, and those started all the way back in September of 2024. So whatever started shifting from that time till right now, this is that culmination point where it becomes clear what we need to let go if we haven't already. So for you, where has this story been unfolding since 2024? If you are an Aries Rising, this has been happening in your 12th house and your 6th house. Now Pisces specifically is in your 12th house. So this is the house of Pisces. This is your subconscious mind, the part of you that's hidden from the world, the part that's all about like solitude, your inner world, your dreams, your spirituality, your rest. It's honestly everything that is happening under the surface. So for you, this transit, these eclipses have brought up something deep internally. So whatever you've been working on privately is finally ready to be released. We're talking about closure, whatever that thing is that you've been working through, that pattern that has been coming up, that phobia, that trigger, that trauma, that thing, that addiction that's been holding you captive. This is that culmination point. It's honestly giving like a spiritual ending of releasing something that was under the surface for a very long time. So the question I would say for you is ask yourself, what are you no longer wanting to bring into your future that you've been carrying for a very long time? If you are a Taurus rising, then this would be happening in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. It's been in the axis of your 11th house and your 5th house, which is the house of creativity, and then the house of hopes and dreams. Pisces specifically is in your 11th house. So friendships, community, your network, your hopes and dreams, your audience, your long-term dreams, your collaborations. So best way I can put it is your relationship with belonging has changed since 2024. Maybe your group of friends and your network has shifted quite a bit. Like some friendships may have fallen away. You may have been drawn to different types of people. You may have found new communities. New communities may have found you. Maybe your vision for the future looks completely different. Maybe you had one specific dream and over the last 2.5 years that shifted completely. So ask yourself, who actually belongs in the future that I'm creating? Because over the last 2 years, you've had a lot of perspective. The closing point is who gets to come with you and who are you in this new future that you've decided for yourself. If you're a Gemini rising, this would have been happening in your 10th house and your 4th house. 10th house would be Pisces, 4th house would be Virgo. And in your 10th house, we're talking career, reputation, what you're known for, visibility, leadership, legacy, and your public identity. So maybe a professional chapter that's been evolving since 2024 to now is coming to a close. Now for some of you, you may have experienced this more on the 4th house of having like your home life shift so much that your career shifted completely for a while. So like having babies, losing a loved one, something like that. But it's almost like you've gotten to redefine what success means to you. Because even though there's been this unexpected shift, right? It's shifting the way that you look at your legacy and your career. Hypothetically speaking, if you had a baby, your legacy goes from like a business to like, oh, I have these children I have to raise. So again, that's an example. The question for you would be, am I building the career that I actually want? Or have I been building the career that I thought would prove something about me? So whatever that answer is, my love, I want you to build a career that is right for you from a place of knowing who you are. If you are a Cancer rising, this would have been hitting your 9th house as well as your 3rd. Now the Pisces in the 9th house is talking more about like your spirituality, your higher mind, your beliefs, your faith, higher education, teaching, publishing, travel. And I'm talking like long distance travel, not like small town. So your worldview would have completely changed over the last 2.5 years. You might have traveled more and it may have shifted your mindset. You may have had an awakening and spiritually woken up to something different. You may believe different things about yourself, about life, about God, about the universe, or even deeper, like a mindset shift of like what is possible for you now that maybe in the past you hadn't questioned. So for you, I think these eclipses would have totally shifted your worldview and the way that you think and look at life. So if I were to present you with a question, it would be, what do you believe now because you've actually lived it and not because somebody taught you to believe it? Because you've gone from accepting what everybody taught you to be true to like questioning your own reality and finding closure with like, these are my beliefs and this is who I am. If you are a Leo rising like me, I mentioned in the last video how I would have been hitting your 8th and your 2nd house. This particular eclipse in Pisces is going to be hitting your 8th house, which is the house of like sex, death, money, the taboo. So we're talking intimacy, vulnerability, shared finances, sex, debt, investments, energetic entanglements, grief, trust, power, all of these Scorpio things. Honestly, even psychological transformation, a lot of trauma did come up for me. So whatever it is that you're releasing, whether it's around your finances and your stability or trauma that's blocking you or grief or whatever it is that's living there for you, what have you been emotionally, financially, or energetically tied to that needs to go? And again, in my case, it had a lot to do with my career, but it was also tied to like my sense of self-worth that came from that. So the question for you, my love, is what are you still carrying, owing, or remaining attached to that you are finally ready to release? What identity has to die in order for you to be reborn as a person who knows exactly what's enough and what they need? If you're a Virgo rising, this would be hitting your 7th house as well as your 1st. Again, the axes have been in Pisces and Virgo. This last chunk is going to be hitting Virgo, which will be your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, contracts, marriage, even clients, commitments, anything like that. So this is kind of a big eclipse for you because it's the last one in this nodal axis that probably shifted your entire life, identity, and relationships. So whatever relationship storyline has been developing since 2024, whether you're single, married, in a relationship, or you've been fluctuating through all three, it's going to reach a moment of truth. A culmination point is going to highlight whatever pattern it is that needs to come to an end. And maybe not even necessarily an end. It might just be like a deeper commitment. Maybe you've gone from like hesitating to going all in, or even figuring out a truth around relationships and yourself. It could be something like, man, I've been dating since I was 15 years old and I've never taken a break, something like that. So the question for you, my love, is does this relationship reflect the person that I have become? Now, if you're single, is the relationship that I'm looking for now, after these last 2.5 years of awareness, is it reflecting who I have become and how I see myself now? Or is it reflecting the person I used to be? And if you are married and just deepening the commitment or whatever that looks like for you, or if it's a business partner, is it aligned with who you are becoming or who you used to be? Because whatever version of you has to die or we have to let go of to step into the new level of relationship, it's time for that. If you are a Libra rising, my love, this would have been hitting your 6th house, which is your house of routines, your day-to-day, your health, your habits, your day-to-day responsibilities, that type of thing. So this eclipse is just going to illuminate what is no longer working, what is not sustainable for you anymore. Because you literally cannot create a completely different life if you keep having the same behaviors every single day. And keep in mind, your old routine is what's keeping you stuck. And we're talking about eclipses coming to bring clarity and shift things. This is a time to release what's no longer working for you. And that might show up in your health. That might show up in like feeling limited in your day-to-day life. And maybe over the last 2.5 years, you've experienced enough. This is the culmination point where you have to decide, is it working or is it not? So the question for you, my love, is does the way you live actually support the life that you say you want? Okay, I might have to do another part. Apologies, I don't want to be that girl, but I also don't want to half-ass this. I do have a YouTube channel where I go deeper into astrology, and I'm happy to go deeper into any of this. So if you want to follow Journey Through the Darkness on YouTube, I'll go way deeper into this. But for part 3, I'm going to start at Scorpio Rising all the way through Pisces Rising. Let me know your rising in the comments. Let me know if it landed, if you've been experiencing this over the last 2.5 years, because my love, we're just shifting into the Aquarius and Leo nodes, and that's going to be a whole nother whammy. And we have to close this part so we can step into the next one. Let me know how it landed for you.